You've probably seen this family tree of Apple earbuds before online. The OG iPod ones from 2001, the redesign in 2007, and then of course the EarPods, which after 13 years are still being sold new in Apple stores. But this isn't the full story. There are other models so rare that they've disappeared entirely from lists like this. So today I'm going to rank all of them based on how hard they are to find. Some of them are like the holy grail, and their value has skyrocketed. But believe it or not, I did manage to secure the number one item on this list. So, standing at the very bottom are of course the Apple wired EarPods. These were first released in 2012 with a 3.5mm audio jack. They were redesigned in 2016 with a lightning connector because of the newly released iPhone 7 that didn't have the 3.5mm port at all. Then 2023 brought a USB-C version alongside the Type-C only iPhone 15 line. These came packaged with every iPhone sold from the 7 to the 11, which is probably the main reason why these aren't rare nor expensive. And they start at about $5 on eBay. Despite a lot of people getting these for the low price of free, they do have a surprising level of clarity to them. Apple set the standard pretty high for basic wired earphones. Next on the list, and just a little bit rarer, are the plain old Apple earphones with remote and mic. These were not comfortable earbuds, not in my experience anyway. The plastic and metal going straight into one's ears just didn't ever make sense to me. So these were bundled with the iPhone and iPod models from 2007 to 12. And although the remote was changed a bit over time, it's fair to classify them as just one model. It's mostly their age that makes them nice to have. These were tangly, plasticky earphones that have sentimental value to a lot of us dating back to the iPod days, but beyond that, they're not expensive or hard to find, at around $10 used or $20 in new condition. Moving on to the slightly more rare stuff now. These are the original iPod headphones. Released in October 2001, they came with the first generation iPod and subsequent models running up to 2007. They're a real 2000s classic. Shorter stems, uncomfy plastic, but these did come with two pairs of foam tips to cover the hard texture. These aren't too hard to find, with good used pairs regularly selling for around $20. A new in-box pair is worth up to about $50 US. So those three pairs are the earbuds people tend to remember from Apple. Consumer headphones that were reproduced millions of times across the world. But in 2004, Apple released something a bit more high performance. The iPod in-ear headphones were released in 2004 as a premium alternative to the default buds that were included with most Apple devices. They cost $39 at the time, which is about $67 when adjusted for inflation. They had a truly modern design, with different sized rubber ear tips included for better sound isolation. It's strange to me how quickly these have become forgotten relics of the past. I could only find a very small handful of listings online for iPod in-ear headphones. The lowest price I found was 99 UK pounds, which is about $130 US. Those are used, by the way, so it's a truly huge jump in price, simply due to scarcity. I couldn't find any sales figures, but considering their price, it's fair to say Apple might not have sold too many of them back when they were in stores. These earbuds are rare enough that it's difficult to find too many pictures online, and there are only a handful of web pages where people discuss actually using them. The reason you're seeing so many pictures of these is purely because I couldn't get a pair to use in this video. I'm not ready to drop £100 on a video just yet. There is a pair of Apple earphones even rarer than these though. A pair intended for HiFi listeners to get the absolute best in-ear listening experience that has somehow gone almost extinct over the years. I'm talking about the Apple in-ear headphones, released in 2008. Apple sold them new for $79. In today's money, that's $120, a significant figure to be spending on any pair of in-ear headphones. These days, Apple's latest and greatest offerings to the headphone world are released to great anticipation. People's ears are always tuned in to when the next pair of AirPods might be released. So surely, as the company's first foray into the world of high-quality headphones, this pair drew a lot of hype on release day, right? Well, not exactly. There are a few reviews online from back in 2008 from people who bought these new. They praised the excellent sound isolation and high-fidelity audio, but these days the Apple in-ear headphones very rarely get mentioned. It's not really like there was a lack of advertising for them going around. In fact, Apple's publicity campaign surrounding these was pure gold. One of the taglines on Apple's webpage for them in 2008 was, "Hear, hear." These headphones had dual drivers inside. The Apple in-ear headphones might have sold for $79 in 2008, but right now their value has jumped somewhere beyond ridiculous. As of the making of this video, there are 3 of these for sale in the UK. One used pair without any accessories for £130, which is about $170 US, and then 2 in nearly new and new condition are up on eBay for £250 and £300 respectively. Those prices equate to $330 and $390. Based on the old web pages about these things and how insanely rare they were, my curiosity was piqued. I had to have a pair. So 3 months ago I started looking. I scoured eBay for the lowest price, looking at recently sold listings for these things to get an idea of what I'd have to pay. The going rate seemed to be around $100, as occasionally a pair would pop up in the $80 or above price range. I thought $100 was too much though, so I just left the idea for another time. A month later though, I looked again out of curiosity, and there was a pair up for £50 UK. For almost 2 months, these sat in my watch list on eBay, and then one day the seller decided to drop the price by 50%. eBay sent me a notification, and the rest is history. So now I'm lucky enough to own what are arguably Apple's rarest and now most expensive wired headphones. And they really are something special. So on the outside is all of the original packaging these would have come with. The original label from the store is there too, with these presumably costing £54 at some point in the UK. This little capsule here is for the replacement ear tips. They're not particularly interesting in themselves, but the capsule is very AirPods-esque. Wrapped around and around the inside of this triangular case are the earphones themselves. They look pretty ordinary, although there's certainly a premium feel compared to the basic EarPods you can still buy. The earphones themselves look great, and the metal filters are high quality. I'm going to have to assume that the internals are too. I'll go into sound quality in just a second, but I'm quite curious about what else was included with these. Underneath the earphones themselves is a little pamphlet. Inside that is this adorable set of replacement filters for in case the originals just fall out or break. I don't know about you, but I've never seen these come with other pairs of headphones. We've also got the standard Apple stickers, albeit strangely orientated, and a couple of instruction booklets. So, I've plugged these into my MacBook to have a listen. The most expensive Apple earphones on the market right now. A real gem of Apple history.
Well then.
They actually sound pretty good. For an in-ear pair of headphones, they really impressed me. If you take the time to fit the right pair of ear tips and place them in your ears properly, there's a great seal. The kind of thing you'd expect from IEMs. There's a strong bass response which delivers proper thumps, especially when listening to rap or electronic music, and it's easy for bass to come off too strong in headphones, wiping other sounds off the stage, but I don't think that's the case here. Like I said, the seal is excellent, so at all volume levels, the mid to high-end sounds can be made out nice and clearly. For comparison, I tried listening to my Bowers & Wilkins P7s just before and after the Apple in-ears, and the only obvious downside to the latter was how they began to distort a bit sooner at high volumes when played through an audio interface. They're also a tiny bit more bass focused. I don't hate that, especially with in-ears, but it wouldn't be right to call these reference monitors or anything like that. Overall, these are great earphones, so it's strange to see how quickly they were forgotten by most. But I think their place is cemented very firmly into Apple's history. The company have shifted focus to wireless headphones over the last decade, but the design language and likely sound quality remains something of a tribute to these earlier premium earphones. Perhaps the Apple in-ear headphones walked so that the AirPods line could run. Thank you very much for watching. Today's video might have been a bit off topic, but of course, if this kind of thing interests you, you can subscribe for more of the same every week. Join the Discord server if you want to talk about older Apple tech pretty much 24/7, and I'll see you all next week.